Hello Pioneers, in the last episode of our Satisfactory series we completed the build to make uranium fuel rods. Today we will complete the nuclear setup by building the process to turn nuclear waste into plutonium fuel rods. We take it a step further by connecting the uranium mine and completing our nuclear fuel processing facility. Finally, it's time to turn on the nuclear reactors. Can we harness our 14,000 megawatts of power, or have we missed some crucial detail? Let's find out. So we've produced non-fissile uranium. We've pretty much produced every step of uranium fuel, but we need to deal with the uranium waste. And to do that, we need to turn it into plutonium. We've got the first step to do that, which is the non-fissile uranium. The second step to do that is using the particle accelerator, a brand new building that we haven't played with yet. We only need one particle accelerator, but you can see that each particle accelerator does require cooling systems. So I think we might as well automate these because in future we might need it. So I'm going to go back to my base and we're going to go automate particle accelerators, or cooling systems I should say. We've already automated cooling systems, we're just not storing it in a box. So I'm going to quickly go and do that. So here's our cooling systems over here back in our old base. It's just being directly fed into the next stage of the process to make turbo motors. So I just added a smart splitter here, routed out this wall. So we're just going to take it from this wall now and bring it down to where we need to take it, which is around this level. And we're going to grab that and we're going to bring that over. Same way we've done with every other material. Then we'll just set up a little box for it, preferably in line with everything. Lift it up. I don't have a spare Mercer sphere for it right now, but we'll sort that out. Maybe get it going the right way would be nice. Lift that up, get that in, and there is our cooling systems in a box. Hopefully we have enough. We only need 50 for the one particle system. We'll take 100 just in case we need 2 for some reason. But yeah, I don't have a box dimensional storage for it yet, but we don't need it right now. We'll hunt down a Mercer sphere, I'm sure, at some point. And we're going to go back and set up that particle accelerator. I'll get set it up on this side or this side. I'm tempted to go with this side. Pretty arbitrary. Just get some more foundation in, and then we'll set up our very first one. Particle accelerator, our brand new building. Let's see how one of these things works. We need probably to leave some space somewhere. We need to tile them in the way that we would want to make them. Wow, these things are absolutely massive. I have a feeling that this entire space is just going to be reserved for particle accelerators. I have no way to house this massive of a structure in any sort of building. So we might flip it like that, and we'll get the inputs going out that way. And then if we need future particle accelerators, it's going to be tiled out that way, I think, is the way we're going to go with this. There's no way I can create any sort of housing for this sort of building at the moment, I don't think. And I don't think I need to. But the particle accelerator can make plutonium pellets. And the plutonium pellets are going to need the uranium waste and the non-fissile uranium. And it should have 2 inputs, I'm guessing. It's even got a liquid input, but in this case, we just need the 2 solid inputs. So we'll do something like this, in case we need more. Face them this way. Get a splitter going. Now, I know I only have 1, but, you know, just in case. Or maybe we can face them in opposite directions. Like that. And that. Now if we get some floor holes going reasonably in line with everything, say like here and here. And we get that going out. Like that. And that goes in there. That goes in there. Too steep. There we go. Now we've got 2 floor holes that we can feed this input into, and then it's going to come out with plutonium pellets, so we need to deal with the output too. There is the output, and once again we probably want this to be in some sort of splitter system. So we'll get a merger going, and all the stuff is going to merge back this way, and then it's going to go down into the floor. Like that. And click. Nope, no clicks. So we'll just bring it out a little bit. We'll rotate that so that it's going the right way, and then that is the output over there. The inputs are there, output is there. We obviously can't make any of this stuff without hooking up the actual materials, but what we can do is hook up the belts that would theoretically carry those. Let me go and see if my non-fissile uranium is being output somewhere. So this is theoretically the output thing, so there should be a floor hole underneath which I can hook into. Let's get another... Wait, no, we've already got a underneath going. So the floor hole is... Gotta find them. So there's the two input holes. And I think this is the output hole. It's very hard to tell. We're just gonna have to do a little bit of clever guesswork. And before I hook that in, let's go find the uranium belt too. I believe we did split the uranium belt over this way. Well, we split it thinking we were being clever, but in theory, it's already coming this way. We shouldn't bring it any further this way then. We thought we were going to build it over there, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's get rid of these unnecessary splitters, and we'll just hook it in directly, and we'll do a splitter on this side. So this is where the uranium waste is going in. We'll split it out, and we'll get it going this way now. Follow this belt maybe? They can be friends because they're basically both uranium products that we need to make plutonium. Get them going around here, and then we can see where they go in. And just do something like this. Nothing complex required. In you go, and in you go. That's both inputs, and this should be the plutonium output. That should be making plutonium pellets out of the accelerator. Now, accelerators, people say, have weird power fluctuations or something like that. I don't really understand what that means at the moment. Ah, it takes a variable amount of power, but up to 750 megawatts. What? That's crazy. That's a stupid amount of power. All right, well, we're gonna have to clock this down to the right amount. Let me figure out what that is. So fortunately, we don't even need one of these. We only need 0.64 of these to consume all the uranium waste perfectly, as well as the 64 non-fissile uranium that we're producing. So that should consume all of it and produce 19.2 plutonium pellets, of which we need to now encase and create plutonium cells, which isn't too hard because it's just an assembler machine, which can go here. So we'll grab our assembler floor, face it the right direction, place it in the right area, nudge it into place, and there it is, our assembler floor. And this one is going to be responsible for turning concrete and plutonium pellets into plutonium, encased plutonium or something. Let's have a look. Encased plutonium cell. How many do we need? Ah, 2. Okay. We actually need 2, and we have 2, which is fantastic. Let's get some power into all these new machines. Where does this thing even come out with power? Over here. All right. Well, you can come out here then. Each one can have its own power line because these things are so massive. And you can have power coming out of here. There we go. Now we just got to get the inputs, outputs. The inputs come out here. Put one here, one here. That should click. That should come out. Are they on the same level? Yep. And that should go straight into there. Wait, what have I done? Always doing this lift the wrong way. There we go. There's the 2 inputs. So one of them is going to be concrete and one of them is going to be the plutonium from there. Then we just need an output, which should be right here. And that's probably just going to go straight next door. Like that. Nice and easy. Nothing complex here. Let's go downstairs and get rid of one of the inputs. I'm going to start putting these everywhere now. No point putting a ladder down there. That ain't going to happen. But there's that. There's the one of the inputs. So I guess we just take the closer one to the closer one. Is that like a perfectly straight line somehow by some magic? Ow. Okay. No, it's not actually a perfectly straight line. It's like almost a perfectly straight line, but that's the plutonium pellets in, and now we just need to get the concrete. And I believe the concrete's already traveling pretty close to over here somewhere. To go back and trace where we last used concrete. I believe it's over here somewhere. There's the encased concrete. Then the concrete should be around here. Alright, this is where we last used concrete. And we don't have a splitter or anything, so we should have to just split the concrete here somewhere and bring it over. This looks like a reasonably clear path to me. So we'll grab a splitter here, and then we'll start bringing the concrete. Reasonably clear path that clips into everything. Can't see. It's quite a way to travel, but I like this subfloor. Gives me all my belts a reasonably clear area to travel to. Reasonably being the key word. We still haven't done this completely non-clipping, but that's fine. Next time I know to leave more room in my subfloor, I might do like a 2-level subfloor. That way we have 4 different lanes of belt travel. And then that should be sweet. So that's the one side, and we'll grab the other side going like this. We'll bring the concrete. In you go. There we go. Now we're making encased plutonium cells. Chuck some billboards on to tell us how many we're making. So we're not quite making all of it. Well, we're close enough to making all of it. We can write down that we are. That's the encased plutonium icon. And if we had 2 running full time, which we have 2 just barely not running full time, we would be making 5. That would consume all 19.2 plutonium pellets and use up about 40 concrete. Now, the only thing we're lacking is the plutonium fuel rod manufacturer. But unfortunately, that is where the complexity comes in, because the plutonium fuel rods require aluminum heat sinks. Well, it requires heat sinks, which requires aluminum. So we're going to set up another constructor, or assembler over here, and that's going to make the aluminum. Now, I stupidly didn't put a gap in between here, so I guess we're just going to follow this pattern on this side, and we're just going to link these 2 buildings. That's fine. Still doing random design things, so we're testing out how they all work. I had a thought like these shop fronts can just be like back to back. I don't really mind it that much. It's just a little bit annoying that I have to deconstruct the back wall, that's all. And yeah, given if they're ever like not the same thing, then I don't know what color to make this back wall. So we'll deconstruct this joining wall, and then they should be like 2 independent ones. And I'm not even going to put a path through there because they're pretty much 2 completely separate processes. So this one is going to be responsible for making the alclad aluminum sheet, which is required for the heatsink. And we need 2 assemblers to do that. Now, this is where things get interesting, because we need to bring the aluminum in here somehow. And I thought we might as well test a brand new way of bringing stuff in. So I was thinking about just doing this by drone. It's a brand new transport system we haven't experimented with. So let's chuck down a drone station over here. Does it fit on the roof? Yes, we can put one on the roof. We can face it inwards like this, or we can face it sideways like this. Where is the input of this thing coming in? The input of this normally comes in from this side, so let's just face the output that way, like this. And then we can bring materials in from the roof. And this is self-contained within its own box, so I'm happy with that. And whenever we need to expand, we just have to remove the drone station and then move it up 1 level. It should be still fine. It doesn't really matter where we put it, like this. Let's give this thing a name. We'll call this nuclear production. And we'll need to give it power and a... we don't have power on this side of the world, do we? Alright, we're gonna have to just keep powering things somehow. Bring power through the other side. Do it like this, and then we just bring it overhead this way. Give that power to the drone station, and then we'll go build ourselves an actual drone. Missing a portable miner. For some reason we need those for drones. Build 2, one for this side and one for the other. Get a drone going on here. Fantastic. Now we need to go to our aluminum section and set up a similar thing. So I'm going to go head over to Alumaxor, and we're going to go set up the same thing over there. Alright, well, I set everything up, and now I've completely changed my mind because fuel. Look at the fuel this thing uses. It can't use coal as fuel. It has to use one of these fuels, and there's no way I can make any of these fuels easily. What is packaged rocket fuel? I have no idea how to make any of these fuels, like in either the aluminium factory or the uranium factory. I mean, I can use uranium fuel rods, but what's that going to do when it... I have no idea if that's going to even work, right? I mean, I can use uranium fuel rods on the other side, but I don't want to introduce that complex logistics. So we're going to get rid of this. And we're not going to use drones. We're just going to go good old-fashioned belt. The aluminium factory is not that far from our actual factory, so it shouldn't be an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the aluminium, and then it's going to go over that way until it gets to our nuclear processing facility, I guess, and then we'll figure out where we route the aluminium into processing it into things. And this is also slightly easier because we can basically ensure that we get the right amount of aluminium rather than the drones, which would have been a little bit iffy. So I'm going to get that going down. And when we get it back to our new nuclear processing town, I'll come and talk about it. Really, it's not that far from Alumaxor. Alumaxor is just there, and our nuclear town is really just here. So it's actually not that far of a belt. It's just a very far downward drop. So I'm going to figure out how to do that. Just going to extend the maximum amount we can, and we'll go from there. Now, I know people have been saying I should learn how to use infinite length things, but I feel like this is such a pain to do an infinite length conveyor belt here. It's just easier to just do regular conveyor belts, right? Can I just click on this and then go down like that? Is this not an infinite length conveyor belt? There we go. We're here. Looks a bit crazy, but we're pretty much here, and we just need to bring it over, right? We'll bring it into here first, and then we'll just wire it all the way around to the other side. That seems to make sense. But we'll follow it over this side. Makes sense that uranium and plutonium fuel pretty much uses every single resource available in the game. It's basically a culmination of all our knowledge put together to get this to work. But just like that, we have aluminum in our base now, and with aluminum we can do a lot. Well, specifically we can make heat sinks. We do have to get it all the way to the other side of the world. But we're almost there. We also have to bring the copper as well. I had to use the alclad aluminum sheet instead of the aluminum casing, because that would have been super easy, but we can't expect this game to give it to us easy. So nuclear power doesn't need to be this complicated. If you were to ship all of your ingredients in, you would actually be perfectly fine. We could have gotten nuclear power online like 3 episodes ago. But because we want to make this completely independent, it does become a little bit more challenging. Alright, let's figure out where the input and the output goes for the alclad aluminum sheet. I think I'm almost there. So we just need to get the conveyor holes in here, there, and we'll get that going like that. That should click, and we'll get it going up like this. Reverse that. Nope, it is meant to be coming out this way. And then get that in there. So one of these needs to be copper, and one of these needs to be aluminum. I think it's copper ingot, isn't it? Yeah, it's copper ingot. So I need to bring the copper ingot over as well. Now I've got to do some maths here as well, because it requires 20 copper ingot for these 2 machines. So let's go over to our copper ingot and we'll draw the belt over before we hook it all up. Yeah, so we've got 120 available. That's fine. We'll write down that we're using up another 20 for AL sheets. So we have 100 available. We're just going to split it off and bring it over. So at the moment, I think the furthest belt is over here somewhere. So we'll just keep going from this belt. This is the input. Oh man, this is a little bit sketch. There's no way I'm putting a splitter anywhere on this thing, am I? Well, technically it lets me, but we're just not going to get it very clean. We're just going to have to belt it out however which way it lets me. There's the aluminum sheet, and we want to get it to the other side of the aluminum sheet. Come on. There we go. About there. And we just have to follow the aluminum back. There's the aluminum, and there's the copper. Let's get some lifts out of these inputs, and then we'll hook in the stuff accordingly. Get a straight belt going there, and a straight belt going there. And these might need to do a little bit of a turn, because they are all the way out there. But we should be able to get that turned in. And similarly with this one. And just like that, we should get the sheets and the copper ingots in, and that should be making alclad aluminum sheet now. I have like no power on this side of the map. I need to get back up. Didn't I power all this? Am I going insane? Now we can remove this drone port. It's kind of useless. It says power, right? I'm not going insane, am I? No connection. What's that? Did I not connect this to the power? Or is this like a fake connection? Oh, what am I doing? I was like, why is there no power there? I thought I connected it, but I didn't do it properly. Get that in. And let's have a look. And they're all green, and we are making alclad aluminum sheet just like that. Let's get rid of some of our aluminum ingots. We got quite a lot on us. And our inventory is getting unnecessarily full. Oh, what the heck? We need to go dump our inventory very soon. It's full of aluminum sheet. Now, we've got 2 of these machines, and they are making 60 aluminum sheet per minute. And we got to use some of those to make heat sinks. So I guess they can just go right next door, I suppose. Makes sense to me. Gonna need more flaw. Infinite amounts of flaw. So I'm just trying to think where I'm going to put my final manufacturer as well. Because if heat sinks are going here, then I guess my final manufacturer can go here. Otherwise, I can put my heat sinks here and then my final manufacturer can go here. Because then the plutonium can come out a lot easier. So maybe I'll do my heat sinks over here. We need more road. And of course, we're going to hit this giant tree. But fine, we can chop it down. I think this is a choppable tree. No, it's not a choppable tree. Oh, damn. This is a final, an actual tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's kind of annoying. Run out of space to do everything. I've actually hit the end of my factory. That's crazy. Well, we know we're not going to build our nuclear power plants this way, so we might as well build our road then. Get another road system going on this side, and then we can build on the other side of the road. Do we even need a road, or should we just build another factory here on a regular path? Yeah, let's just do a regular path here. We can denote it with concrete. Concrete foundation actually looks really cool. It doesn't always have to be separated by a massive road, right? Sometimes we can just use concrete foundation to do the separation. And we can do another set of factories along here because let's be real, we're not going to build our nuclear power plants all the way out here. So we do have room here. So we can kind of loop backwards now. We can build the factory here for heat sinks, and then we can build our final plutonium manufacturer right here. I think that makes a lot of sense, but only time will tell. Why doesn't this like to snap in blueprint mode? Okay. So we'll chuck down a few foundations going this way now. We're almost there. We're getting very, very close. So now we need to get another factory, another assembler going this way with a 1 tile gap. So actually I need another set over here. Might have to go do some more lumberjacking. So it starts here. I believe that is in line. Yep. Okay. There's a bit of trees in the way. I'm going to go chop those down. Now we only need 1 heatsink assembler, so I'm just going to configure this to do the heatsink, but I'll set it at 0.5, and we just got to do input output. Just like that's the input, and that's the output. So this needs copper sheet as well, so we need to bring the copper sheet over, and it needs quite a bit of copper sheet, 22.5. Let's go see if we need to increase our copper sheet production. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have enough copper sheets being made anymore, so we need to increase that. But luckily, we have plenty of copper ingots, so theoretically, doubling this up should be no issue at all. Out of concrete again. All right, let's go get some more concrete. I've also been scared of looking at my power situation doing all this. Actually, we're barely using any power. Yeah, all these new machines makes our max production over, but I don't think our old factory is doing anything at the moment, so... yeah, we're not actually in any sort of power crunch at all, but we definitely need to get this new power online. Because once we start putting these phase 4 components together, all of a sudden, all our power usage is all going to suddenly come online at the same time. But anyway, let's check that constructor floor up there. Should be very easy to do this. Haven't done a second floor for a while, but in theory, the copper ingots should already be coming up. We just have to take the recipe for the copper over here. Then we just go upstairs and we can double it up. I might as well just double it up because make it easier. It's not like we're lacking copper ingots, right? So once they're doubled up, we need to send their output back downstairs like that. And in theory, that should already be linked because it's already coming down through here and all linked. And is that it? Is that all we have to do to get a second floor or something on? Power. They have no input. Right, we've got to get the input in. So that's a manual task, right? So the way we normally do this is something like this. Get it to the roof. Let me figure it out. We just need to get it up a little bit. And then we get it to the roof. And then we just go in. And then everything's happy and it's making copper sheets. Doubled up just like that, very easy. Then we just got to do the maths. So we're outputting 120. Whoops, wasn't meant to take a screenshot. Then we got to write down for the heatsink. We need 22.5 and our availability should be 47.5, which isn't really important at the moment, but that's fine. And then we've got to write down the doubled up amount of copper consumption, which is now consuming 240. Okay, maybe that was too crazy. We need to only consume 100. We'll go 220 and available is 0. So we'll turn off one of these machines and that should be perfect because that each one consumes 20. So we'll drop all this by 1, 10, 37.5. There we go. We're still producing in excess and that should be all good. So we're going to grab the copper sheet line and we're going to bring it out over there. So here's the copper sheet line. I'm going to just cut this belt. We're going to chuck a splitter over here, reconnect this belt, and then we're going to get this one to go this way. Now we can follow the alclad aluminum. I believe that's the alclad aluminum, but we want to give it a little bit of room. Let me through. We want to give it a little bit of room because we know that eventually it joins up to the other sheet, right? Oh wait, it's right here. So we know exactly how much room to give it. Want to be about here, and then we can turn it this way and follow these copper ingots back. Keep the relevant materials all together, make it slightly easier for us in the future if we ever need to do anything. Not that we ever need to do anything. I think once this is all linked up, it's kind of set and forget. Now I want to bring it around here, and then we're going to need to turn it and put it into the inputs over here. We just got to figure out what inputs we want to put where. So this should be the aluminum. Let's get the aluminum going this way first. And that should just go straight in. So we'll get one going like that. And then this one, I guess, can go in this way. Now we'll bring the copper sheets in this way. Actually, if we just bring it in like this, it should be fine, right? Let's turn it this way. No, we'll just connect these two. There we go. Nice and easy, I think that would work. I'm not sure. Let's find out. I need a way up. There's no holes in the ground here. We've got to create one at some point. There's no power here. It's like a power dead zone somewhere. Let me up. Now we've got to create a little hole in the ground so that we can actually manage the underneath bits. Okay. Get power to this thing. And let's see if we've got heat sinks going. Nope. What happened to my alclad aluminum? It's not coming up. Go check it out. This is being produced, right? Oh wait, we never output this. So what did I hook up then? What the heck did I hook up to this thing? Oh man, we gotta go fix whatever I did. I hooked up whatever this is. What is this thing? This must be the plutonium thing, maybe. I have no idea. But I think that's the alclad aluminum. So we just hook that up. Should be actually on exactly the same line. There you go. Alclad aluminum sheet. All good. What is this machine? This is the... That was making heat sinks. What was this making again? I've already forgotten. Yeah, this is the plutonium, encased plutonium, right. So now we've got heat sinks, hopefully. Let's go write that down. We've got one heat sink machine producing 7.5 heat sink. And that's it. That is every single material we need to produce our fuel rods now. So we've got heat sinks being made over here. We have the encased plutonium made back there. We've got steel beams and EM rods. So it's time to finally set up our very last manufacturer to complete this process off. And it's going to go over here. So we'll do a double setup again. Let me just increase this a little bit more. And it worked out quite nicely, this little unplanned town, I think. So over here, we need to get the single floor empty L4. I wish I could blueprint the double one, but there's no blueprint in the game that's big enough to do that. And that's it. This is our last building, I think, for this whole process to get nuclear fuel and get it reprocessed into plutonium. Oh man, what a journey it's been. Well, we're not done yet, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We've still got plenty of work to do. But that's fine. You guys know the drill for this. I'm going to set up the manufacturers over here. We only need one plutonium fuel rod manufacturer. So I'm going to set that up for now. And then I'm going to hook in all the inputs, being the encased plutonium, steel beam, EM rods, and heat sinks. And when that's all done, I will come and talk about it. Alright, routing those inputs got a little bit crazy, but we're pretty much done. We've got the steel beams in, electromagnetic control rods, and the heat sinks. That means we're ready to make plutonium fuel rods. We need to route those into nuclear reactors now, which I don't actually know how many it supports. I know I'm producing 0.16, but how many nuclear reactors does that actually support? Let's have a look. In fact, it supports a very awkward amount of nuclear reactors, not quite 2. So we're going to have to go and figure out how we're going to do that. In fact, we've got to figure out where we're even going to build our plutonium reactors. I kind of don't want to build them near our nuclear reactors. I want to build them separate, but there's no other water source around here. There's only this. Okay. So I kind of want to probably start it from here and go on that way, and we'll just have to pipe the water in elsewhere from like the other side over there or something for the plutonium, because it's going to be a little bit disgusting. Yeah, this lake is definitely not big enough for nukes. The piping is going to look terrible. What am I going to do with this? Let me think about this for a second. Alright, you know what? I've decided this lake is just simply not big enough to do all of our nuclear ambitions. Which is kind of sad. And this is why we need to build it in the ocean, because these things are absolutely massive. I'm going to clear my blueprint designer now. And we're actually just going to build out the nuclear power plants. We're not going to hook them up. We're just going to build them out to see how many we can actually build here. So we'll get our blueprints and we will get our flaw in. And I know one of my nukes is going to clip into this rock, which is a little bit unfortunate. But the other side should be reasonably clear. So we'll see how many we can actually build. We'll build it in sets of 4. Because the ratios are really awkward as well. Let me grab this slug before I pave over it. There's spiders here too. Yes, yes, you want to release poison, that's okay. Yeah, have some novelist. And you too. Alright, so we've paved it out to the edge of the lake, because with the water, it's easy to just go straight up, but there is more lake. I can do more complex piping to get more nuclear reactors continuing down that way, but let's get the main ones in first. So I'm going to build as many as I can and see how many that actually is in sets of 4. I have a feeling I can only build 2 more sets of 4, if even that. So give it a go. I'll be back when that's done. So using water extractors to measure, in fact, I can only fit another 4 more nuclear power plants in here, but that's not really a big problem. I can always use slugs to overclock it. And we have 2 of these plutonium power generators over here. We can fit a few more over here, maybe, like a 3rd one, because the ratio gets a little bit awkward. It's like 1.6 per 4. So it's a little bit weird. We'll have to figure it out as we go, but I'm going to reserve these 2 for plutonium, and that means they need a new belting system also. So I'm going to go sort all that out and get the plutonium in, and the plutonium waste needs to go get stored somewhere, so I've got to figure that out as well. So once I've done that, I'll come back and we will try to hook all of this up and bring it into action. Okay, so I've added a new belt layout to get from our plutonium fuel rods all the way out on the very top to split into our 2 plutonium fuel reactors. Now this thing's going to produce plutonium waste, and that plutonium waste can never be destroyed. It needs to be indefinitely stored somewhere. So we've got to figure out how we're going to do that. And what I'm thinking is we go underneath. Now I know there's a belt under here, so we're going to go 2 underneath. And then we got to get a belt going over here, and then we're going to merge it. Let me just get a dummy belt going. Get a belt going like that. Now we need to center a merger here. And then we got to get the belt in through there. I know it clips through the pipes, don't worry about that. And we'll get rid of this part. And in theory, this should be now our plutonium waste. Now, we can get that plutonium waste stored anywhere. I'm thinking underwater would be best. So, let's see, where's the best place to store it, sort of out of the way of everything? Now, this water is not even that deep, so I don't even know about storing it underwater. This is a good question. Where are we going to store this crap? Because I might need this water for more plutonium reactors later, so I'm a little bit hesitant to store it there. We could store it in the air, or we could just store it over here, I guess. I suppose there's no harm in just storing it here. Questions. Alright, you know what I'm going to do with the plutonium storage? We're going to store it. We're going to get rid of what we've done. And we're going to just store it on this island. And it's just going to tile up into the air, I guess. So let's put down some world grid aligned foundation. Like that. And let's just put some... Oh, so annoying working here. I have to just cycle between my jetpack and my hoverpack. We're going to just put some industrial storage over here. Guess we can just face it this way. Doesn't really matter. And then it should just be able to stack on top of one another, right? Like if we just opposite the thing and then just do something like this. And then we can just tile it indefinitely into a tower of death plutonium, right? That should make sense to me. So let's get that working. We'll have to get another merger above here. Like that. And we'll get that going up here. What is this thing doing? Oh, I deleted the wrong ones. That's the splitter for the input. Let's get the merger down. Now it needs to be up one more, like that. And that can go into here. And then the merger over this side can do the same thing. Go into there. And then this merged thing needs to come over here somewhere. And this is the plutonium waste that we will be storing indefinitely. And it's going to just travel over here and into here. Perfect. It even lines up nicely. So it's going to go into these industrial storage containers. And I think that's it. We are pretty much ready to get things going. We just need to get the pumps in because at the moment, I think I was just testing the one water thing and it doesn't actually pump the water required to get into our nuclear power plant. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's no water up here. And I've just been testing with this one and there's water here. Hey, there's water here. What? So it doesn't need pumps? Are you guys actually happy? No, there's like no more water here. So about up, it can get water up to about here. And then after this junction, it's just like, nope. So what if I were to put a pump here? How much is this doing? 240. So Mark 1 pipeline pumps are okay until we upgrade the things with slugs. But we'll just do Mark 1 for now. So we want it pumping upwards like that. Then we just got to get the power in. Now I've got to upgrade all of these power poles to Mark 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because the Mark 1 power poles don't support this. I'm going to hook in all the power and all the pumps and I'll be back when that's done. Alright, with all those pumps connected to power, let's check all our nuclear power plants. We want to be very careful about this before we turn everything on and make everything radioactive. All of them have water now. These are our 4 main ones processing nuclear fuel or uranium fuel. And they all have water. And over on the far end, we've got 2 extra ones that will be processing the plutonium fuel. Okay. Now, if we want 1.6 divided by 2, 0.83. So we want both of these functioning at 83% power to get it all stable, I think. I hope that works. I don't know if that's going to work in practice. But yeah, the plutonium fuel rod's being produced at 0.16 and each one requires 0.1. I don't know if it's better to get just like one functioning at 100% and the other one functioning at like 0.66, but yeah, we're just gonna have to test and see. But before we can do that, before we irradiate this entire area, we need more iodine masks. In fact, if we're gonna be working in this area, we need to automate this entire process. So that requires quick wire and aluminum casing, which is back at the main base, but it also requires gas filter, which requires fabric. Yeah. Coal and iron plate is not a problem. So let's get a setup going back at the main base for this. And once I get that set up, I will come and talk about it. It might be semi-manual, as in I might have to go get the fabric from somewhere and then bring it in, but that should be fine. Because I think I've got fabric. No, I don't. Okay, so I need to get a Mercer sphere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to where our fabric's being produced, which is at Nymeria. And we're going to go store that into dimensional storage. And then whenever we need more masks, we can just take it out of dimensional storage, shove it into a box somewhere, and then get more produced. In theory, that should work. So let's go to Nymeria and find ourselves a Mercer sphere to start with. All right, we're over here at Nymeria. I've gotten myself 2 more Mercer spheres. I hope I have my SAM things on me. Yeah, I do. So I should be able to build myself a dimensional storage on here, and that way I can access fabric anywhere. Yep, so that's uploading fabric. I'm going to bring some fabric to get us started. So I'm just going to bring all of it. You can have some for dimensional storage. This thing's gonna make fabric, right? Yeah, it's gonna make more fabric. That's fine. So we're gonna go back home now, and we're gonna it's gonna be semi-manually hand-fed, because I don't imagine I'm gonna just live in the nuclear area, so we don't need like an infinite supply of these filters, but it'd be nice to have, you know, most of the filters ready to go. And definitely nice to have it in dimensional storage, because whenever I do need to get over there, I don't want to die of radiation poisoning. Alright, so I've decided to set up the iodine gas, the normal gas mask manufacturer over here. So we're now producing regular gas masks. I have a storage container over here where I have to manually feed the fabric, but that shouldn't be a problem because I can anytime pull fabric out of here and just chuck it into here, right? 3 stacks at a time. Fantastic. And when we upgrade our Mercer stuff, it'll be even more than that. We can do a train logistics system one day and bring the fabric in. It's not really a problem, but I don't feel like this needs to be super automated. Now this thing should be making gas filters. Why is it not making gas filters? It is. It's just feeding them all up into here, I guess. Yeah, there's the gas filters. So they need to go feed into the next thing. So let me bring that down 1 level. And then get that fed into the next building. Why doesn't it like to go into stuff? Ah, it's a merger, right. We don't need a merger. Actually, we just can... Why am I doing this the hardest way possible? Let's just get this out onto the right level, which is this level. And then we'll just get that straight into here. Nice. Follows a reasonably non-clipping path. And that should get gas filters into the next building, which is this. And we're going to make iodine gas filters here. So that just needs quick wire and aluminum casing. So I'm going to belt that in and connect the power. Now it's pretty slow, 7.5 per minute. And this thing only makes 3.75 per minute. So... yeah, it's pretty slow, but 3.75 per minute should be faster than we consume them, hopefully. So I just need to get the quick wire and the aluminum casing in, and then we're sweet. Quick wire should be pretty easy. It should be like right down here somewhere. In fact, it is over here, I believe. Ah, damn you. Why did I wall all this off? There we go. There's a quick wire. So we just need to split it out somewhere. In fact, we can just split it out here. Probably have to program this smart splitter though. Is this a smart splitter? No, it's just an any splitter. Interesting. So we can get rid of this wall. Get that into the wall. Then which level should we get this onto? Oh, I should have flipped these 2 manufacturers around. Would have made life so much easier. But essentially we want it to be about here. Get that in messily. And then into there. And apparently that's a straight belt and totally legal for some reason. What? Get it into there. I know it goes like right through the machine, but at this point, let's just get things functional. That's 2 things in, and now the hard part is the aluminum casing, so I'm going to go over there and set that up. Alright, things got pretty messy trying to get all the aluminum casing across, but you can see eventually through much clipping, I finally managed to get it through. And we have a machine now automatically producing the iodine infused filters, so long as we supply it with all the fabric that it needs, which is great. And it's being stored into this box and then being uploaded into the dimensional depot. Now we think over time we should have plenty of these to work with, but that's just going to be stocked slowly over time. And I think we've got pretty much everything we need now to turn on our nuclear power. So let's go over there, pray that we've done everything correctly, turn on our nuclear power, and hopefully be able to troubleshoot it before all our masks run out. That's going to be the goal of the game now. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? Alright, let's get... First of all, do we want a Miner Mark 3 on this? How fast is a Miner Mark 2 doing this? The Miner Mark 2 is doing this at 120, which is enough for now, but we want it to be 240. So let me just put on my jetpack. Quickly make ourselves a Miner Mark 3 down here. Upgrade that. Let's get some power to it then. So what are the chances we're going to get this right first go? Just gonna follow the belt with power all the way back. It's actually a super long trek, and I believe there's also some scaries along the way. The mobs in here continue to respawn, which I don't really understand why. There's the big one. Let me just put down a power pole and let's go deal with that thing first. Oh man, I have 15 bullets. What? Where's all my rifle ammo? Oh god. That's all my bullets. We're just gonna have to run past the rest. I really gotta re-equip myself because I haven't put dimensional storage for my rifle ammo. I thought I did do that. Must be going crazy. That's alright. Rifle ammo is not a big deal. Now, creating a giant belt of radioactivity probably isn't the best idea, but... Oh, so many spiders chasing me. Run. We're almost there. We're almost out of the dangerous cave. Should have just run one big power pole. I don't know why I decided to run a bunch of regular power lines, but whatever. We're committed now. Alright. In theory, when I plug this in, uranium is going to start flowing. So before I do that, I'm going to go just re-equip myself. Alright, we are back. We've got ammo and everything just in case whatever we need it for. But we're ready to connect the power to the uranium mine. And once I've done that, I've only got 28 iodine infused filters. Plus, I think I have 35 in dimensional storage now to fix any problems. So I wonder, what are the chances I've just done this right first time around? Let's go trace the uranium and let's see if it works. All of this is about to become highly radioactive. So let's go and see where the uranium is. It should be coming over here any minute now. We'll go meet it somewhere. I don't see it. It is a very long belt, so it might take a minute. This has power, right? Yeah. Oh, spiders. By the time we kill these spiders, the uranium should have arrived. There it is. Highly radioactive. Wait. Barely radioactive? Oh, amazing. Oh, cool. So it's not even that radioactive. That's good. Like, I can walk along the uranium belt without getting irradiated. That's clever. So it's not as radioactive as the mine itself, where, you know, if I'm in this distance of the mine, I'd be dying. So at least they've made that little quality of life feature. So I'll have to be like literally standing on top of the belt. Even then, the radiation level's not that bad. So that's a good sign. That means my base isn't going to be highly radioactive everywhere this belt runs. In fact, we can go see if we stand on top of the belt on the road, is that enough radiation absorption that we don't actually get irradiated? Not really. If we're directly on top of the belt, we get... It is radioactive. But is it consuming my iodine gas mask? Yes, it is. Very, very slowly. Alright, let's go check out some of our machines that take the uranium. So now with uranium flowing, we should be able to activate our very first uranium machine, which would be these encased cells. Let's see if these blenders are working. The blenders are radioactive. They are working. We are getting encased cells out, and the radiation is actually not that bad. Thank God. I thought this whole place would just be heavily radioactive, but it's actually not that bad. Then they're going to go over here and hopefully make uranium fuel cells. Obviously, that's going to take a while for it to saturate. We need 50 encased uranium for it to make one fuel cell. Takes 20 per minute. It's going to take a while. Yup. So we're going to go chill at the fuel belt to see when the fuel comes in. So at some point, uranium fuel should plop out over here somewhere. I believe from here. So I wonder if I can just chill here. Let's put on our hover pack and we'll just watch it for a bit. It's going to take a few minutes. I'm glad it's not as radioactive as I thought it would be. Something's shooting at me. Why am I vibrating? We just keep checking in on this machine every now and then. 25. Are these producing at full pelt? Yup. And they are making 20 per minute, which is 40 per minute. And this takes in 20 per minute, 20 per minute. Yeah. It's just taking a while to saturate. And then it takes how many minutes? It takes like minutes and minutes to craft one of these cells. So I'll be back when this is done. You can just watch it from here. Alright, this machine just came to life. We're making our first uranium fuel cell. Surprisingly, I'm standing next to the machine and I'm not being irradiated. Where does the radiation come from? Like back here, it's perfectly fine. We don't need any radiation protection back here. Surprisingly, this whole factory is not as radioactive as I thought. I pretty much thought this whole area would just be constantly radioactive while this is going. But actually, there's heaps of room where you can just stand and watch this stuff without being irradiated. But it's producing now. You can see how slowly it makes a uranium fuel rod. I think this machine is still... Yeah, oh, this one's making it as well. Excellent. Alright, our first one just produced and popped out, so hopefully that will now travel down here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Let's follow it. It's too fast. Oh no, I screwed up. Quick, put on our jetpack. Follow the uranium fuel rods. There they go. They're following the belt. And my movement is terrible, and off they go. They should get split, and it went into that one. So is this one now giving out power? Burning fuel, no fuel, but giving power. Look, the power just spiked up by 2500 megawatts. And I assume the other one went out. Oh, it's producing waste already. Okay. It just constantly produces waste. And it's just burning the fuel and generating 2500 megawatts. The water seems to be keeping up. Where did our second fuel rod go? It would have been split somewhere, right? Unless it ate 2 fuel rods. What? I saw 2 fuel rods come in. Where did the other one go? That one has no fuel. We should probably get rid of the end of this manifold as well, because we don't want it coming out past this splitter anymore. Weird. I saw 2 uranium fuel rods come out. I don't know where the second one went. But we're going to have to give it a few minutes for all of this to come online. But yeah, this is definitely burning fuel, and hopefully more uranium fuel rods will come before this thing finishes burning fuel. It doesn't tell me where my consumption is. Like how many fuel rods per second. How do we know it's 0.1? But we're getting stable 17,000 megawatts with this one now. The other 3 are not working at the moment. Alright, let's go track the nuclear waste back and see how that's going. Oh, the nuclear waste is radioactive, be careful. Wait, did I get the nuclear waste going in the right spot? Yeah, it is. It's going that way. There's another few fuel rods coming through. Cool, this place isn't as radioactive as I thought, which makes me happy. Let's go see if the non-fissile uranium is being produced now. I think it's here, right? Yeah, uranium waste is definitely going into this machine, but nothing's being produced at the moment because we obviously don't have enough uranium waste. So we're just waiting for our power plants to power up. But at least the uranium waste is going to the right spot. We can even check the next place. What else uses uranium waste? In the particle accelerator. Yes, uranium waste is going in here, but obviously there's no non-fissile uranium yet. So we'll have to wait for that to saturate. This whole process is going to take quite a long time. But yeah, I'm glad I did the plutonium part because look how much uranium waste is coming out. That is a lot of uranium waste coming out. So we got to be really careful with that. If we had just done the uranium part and not done the waste part, we would have a lot of issues. But I can see 2 nuclear reactors are now online and working. Fantastic. 2 down, 2 to go. This one is still continuously running, as is that one. And we're producing a lot of waste now. So I'm going to let this run for a bit, and then I'll come talk about if anything interesting happens, because it looks like I'm just going to be sitting here for the next 30 minutes to see if any of this stuff actually finishes, like all saturates properly and runs. Oh wait, we got a third one running now. Amazing. Yep, we got a third one burning fuel. Nice. Crazy, I got this all working first time round. I'm so impressed with myself. Ah, yeah. This is where the extra uranium fuel cell went. Let's chuck it in the 4th one then. Don't want to carry this stuff around with me. That would be crazy. So we've got all 4 online now. Let's see if it can keep up. See if all my maths is correct. So over at our non-fissile uranium, it's finally got enough waste to start going. So it's now producing the non-fissile uranium. The water is correctly being drained, thankfully. So, oh, I need to turn down my water production over here. Otherwise that non-fissile uranium is not going to keep draining forever, is it? I'm going to deactivate just one section of the pipe. That way we get 120 spare water capacity in this pipe, so it's not just always full of the water from this fracking source. Because at the moment that fracking source is producing 600 water, so there would be no spare water for this thing to drain its water. So we definitely need to do that. Now, is our particle accelerator working? Almost. It needs a little bit more non-fissile uranium, which this thing just needs more uranium waste. Fair enough. Power production is indeed stable at now 25,000 megawatts. Fantastic. Now the split of this isn't great yet, but I'm hoping eventually it'll saturate itself. Like this one's got an extra fuel rod in there, and this one has nothing in there. So obviously the split of these fuel rods isn't perfect at the moment. Not sure why, but we'll let it just do its thing for a bit and then we'll monitor. I don't want an excess backup of fuel rods either, so hopefully this will just sort itself out. Otherwise I'm not going to get as much power as I think I am. Ah, plutonium things have come into life. We're getting some encased plutonium going. Maybe I will put a door here. So is our encased plutonium making plutonium fuel cells is the other question. Yes, but very, very slowly. We've got 2. Did it already make a fuel rod? I have no idea. That means our particle accelerator did whir up at some point and convert some of our uranium into plutonium. Very, very slowly. Mostly I'm just observing these two uranium fuel rod manufacturing machines to make sure they're all green and continuously producing fuel rods. I can see from the smoke pillars all 4 of these are now running. Let's go have a look at the fuel rod situation in each one. Yup. That one's burning a fuel rod and has a spare fuel rod in it. This one is burning a fuel rod but has no spare one in it. Same with that one. And that one now has no fuel. Huh. Why do I feel like my uranium fuel production is not fast enough for 4 machines? I'm not sure. Because it doesn't tell me how much fuel it actually consumes. Because shouldn't it tell me like consumption 240 per minute? And this thing should tell me the consumption. Maybe when there is a fuel in there, it will tell me. 0.2 per minute, yes. So yeah, 0.2 per minute. I'm producing 0.8, right? So I think it just needs time to saturate, I guess. Unless I've done all my maths wrong. My output here says 0.8, but is it actually doing 0.8? Yeah, 0.4 as long as it's continuously producing. 0.4 as long as it's continuously producing, and it looks like it's perfectly capable of continuously producing. Okay, I guess it's just a saturation issue, so I'm just going to let my game run for a bit, and then we'll come back and see how things go. So I've been observing this for about 15 minutes, and I came to the realization that, yes, while 4 nuclear plants do consume 0.8 and we're producing 0.8, given the travel time, we need to initially have a little bit of surplus of power cells. So what I've just done is I have overclocked these machines to 150%, as well as these 2 machines to 150%. And I've just been monitoring. I had to add 1 more sulfuric acid manufacturer or refinery, but these are all now continuously producing at 150%. So we should have a 50% surplus of uranium fuels to help saturate the plants. And once that's saturated, we can downclock them back to 100%. And in theory, they should just maintain their production. The sulfuric acid backing up was causing a bit of an issue. So I'm just vigilantly monitoring that this sulfuric acid over here doesn't back up. And we are finally getting plutonium production as well, now that all of this is working. So our accelerator is working every now and then at 64%. It looks really cool. I wish I can see it working, but I don't think it's on at the moment. Yeah. Let's have a look at this thing. This thing also has a backup of water, so we've got to be vigilant that the water is indeed being used up. And that's pretty much it, and everything else is being produced. Our plutonium power plant is actually up and running. Now we're getting pretty stable 27,000 megawatts. Every now and then both plutonium power plants will run as well, and that'll give us another 4,000 megawatts, but obviously that's going to take even more time to stabilize out given how much plutonium we're producing. But we don't really care about the plutonium. The plutonium is purely to deal with the nuclear waste, and we can see the nuclear waste belt isn't backing up at all, so that's perfectly fine with me. We'll just check again that these are continuously producing, and it looks like they are continuously producing. And it looks great. These are still continuously producing. Let's just monitor it. We are definitely getting more than 8. Oh, it did go idle for half a second. Why is it idle? It goes idle, like, for no reason. I feel like there's still just not enough sulfuric acid in the system, even though there is, like, more than enough sulfuric acid in the system, if you know what I mean. Like, it's really weird. I've even put pumps in the sulfuric acid making machines. This is being downclocked to 40 and 50, which is 100. I mean, I can just clock this at 100 and get some sulfuric acid surplus in here. I've added pumps almost like everywhere just to make sure the sulfuric acid is continuously flowing. Now it's continuous. It's just these pumps. The sulfuric acid is just struggling to get into these machines for some weird reason. Yeah, I have no idea why. It's really odd. But now we're getting a surplus of sulfuric acid. I don't want too much of a surplus because then this will back up, right? So I do have to monitor this vigilantly. Check out how radioactive our plutonium waste is. It's in this box. It's like maximum radioactivity level. And we've already gotten 22 plutonium waste. And we haven't even done anything yet. So we're going to have to also vigilantly monitor that plutonium waste storage chest to make sure it doesn't get full. I don't know if you can put like alarm signals like in Factorio in this game where you can just monitor a storage box, and if it's full it just sends off an alarm and goes, hey, I'm full, do something about me. But yeah, everything is working at the moment, so we can see that yeah, all 4 are continuously powered. This one even has 3 extra uranium fuel rods in there. Maybe I can help this out a little bit by taking... Can I take some out? You can have 1, and I'll put 2 in here, just as to keep this continuously running. And then we'll take 1 out of here. We can see they are backing up slowly. There was 3 in that one. We'll just chuck an extra 1 in here. So now they all have a spare uranium fuel rod. Well, this one has 2 spare uranium fuel rods. And hopefully now our uranium fuel rod oversupply will keep these supplied, and we will get all the power that we need. I'm already happy with the power. We've already got our 10,000 megawatts from these 4. Just the plutonium ones, well, now both of them are kind of running, but the plutonium ones aren't obviously running yet. And when they are, they should give us another 4,000 megawatts of power. So technically we've got another 14,000 megawatts of power to play with, which is fantastic. And we're going to need that for phase 4, which is what we're going to do next. So now we're sitting pretty at 27,000 megawatts of power. You can see we're only using like 7,000 megawatts. So we've got 20,000 spare, but that will change very quickly as soon as I start implementing all this stuff from phase 4 and our old factory whirs to life. We will continue to vigilantly monitor our nuclear power plant. And again, it is very, very easily extensible to 8 plants. So we might come back and do that at some point if our power usage ever starts getting close to the red line again. But for now, I think we're sweet. So we'll leave it here for this episode. We've done pretty well. We've got our nuclear power online. Surprisingly, besides the sulfuric acid backup issue, it was all working first time around. You know, the only thing I didn't account for was, yes, I needed to oversupply the nuclear power plants to start with. But once that's oversupplied and I see some backup of fuel, I'm going to go downclock everything back to what it was so that it just maintains it perfectly. Because I don't want things fully backing up. Once it fully backs up, then the sulfuric acid pipes will fully back up and it might not start up ever again. So I don't really trust it. So I'm going to make sure everything just produces perfectly in ratio. But that's all for this episode. Next episode, we're going back to our old factory and we're going to go start making the phase 4 objectives. So if you don't want to miss out on that, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.